Welcome to our highlights of the Elite National Irish Criterium Championships hosted by Banbridge Cycling Club, which is held in the beautiful town of Banbridge, County Down. The host club also fields a very strong team in the Men's Elite Championship race. Banbridge Cycling Club also hosted a women's Criterium race earlier this evening, which was won by Heather Foley of Maryland Wheelers.
What a great ride by yourself.
Team ASEA are here with current Irish Criterium champion Mark Dowling, who is here to defend his title with Roger Aiken and Declan Mulholland. We caught up with Mark this morning in his hometown of Terenure in Dublin.
Looking at the start list, I think it's going to be competition coming from every angle. If I was to pick a few, I would say maybe Mark Potts, Conor Hennebury and Philip Lavery. They're three of the best riders in the country. They're all racing abroad at the moment and getting results abroad. So I would say if they're going to be flying home for this race, they're going to be very, very highly motivated. I've raced on this circuit twice before. I won it once and I was second the other time. So I would be confident enough coming in. I know it's a circuit that suits me. I like something fast, technical, and then with a little bit of a hill thrown in. But everybody's always expecting me to go on the drags. So I will give it a shot, but it's mostly over the top of the climb. You come through the town and a quick descent. It gets quite technical with some switchbacks and some short chicanes, and that's probably a great place for attacking, but most of the guys will know my tactics by now, so they'll be well aware, and I think I'll be heavily marked.
Conor Hennebury of Team Aqua Blue is here tonight and is also one of the hot favourites.
I had a chance to go around the crick course there this morning. It's a very difficult course. There's some tight corners on it, a few bumps going through the corners, which will make some of the corners quite tricky. There's also a longish drag on it, and with the wind that's there today, it'll make the course very hard. And you can bet that there's going to be a lot of competition because it's a national crit. There's going to be a strong field, and it's going to be a good race, and hopefully I can get some sort of result.
Tonight's circuit will really test the skills of the riders with a fast downhill on the back circuit and a chicane with 200 metres to go leading into the finishing straight. The circuit will really split this field to pieces. Will Mark Dowling do the double? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Over 50 elite riders line up here at the start, with Mark Potts also looking for the title. Riders will find it difficult tonight to stay away on the fast 1 kilometre circuit right around Banbridge town. And they're off. The riders will do one neutral lap of this 1 kilometre circuit on this year's Irish National Criterium Championship circuit. Race director Aaron Wallace has put on a fantastic event with the help of the PSNI and of course the support of Armagh, Banbridge and Craigavon Council, of course Cycling Ulster too. Criterium racing is very, very fast and doesn't suit all elite riders, but Mark Dowling is feeling right at home here. The course will really test the skill of these riders, and Banbridge man Gareth McKee will be another man to watch. He is the strongest team here tonight, with James Curry, John Buller, Martin Fitzpatrick and Matthew Adair. Mark Potts is the sole rider here from his UK-based pro team Neon Velo, and has had a lot of success this year, of course, winning the 59th edition of the Shea Elliott Memorial Classic. The riders really anxious to make a show on the road, and the defending champion Mark Dowling is right up at the head of affairs as they roll out. A very technical course here as they pass through the chicane at 200 metres to go. And as we turn into the finishing straight and the motorcycle camera moves ahead, the riders begin to wind it up. So the riders coming through the start line now, and do expect the attacks to start any moment. We can see the Banbridge riders right up at the head of affairs. So too Mark Dowling from ASEA, a Newry rider, takes them around the corner very, very tight there. And the first attack of the evening comes from Gareth McKee on the right hand side. Remember, this is a gradual descent for the riders. Dowling just marking the front. There's McKee, glances over his right hand shoulder. Already he has a gap, but it's only a couple of seconds here. He sweeps right into a chicane, right and left out of this, and up a slight drag. This is going to count over the course of this evening. Looks like Declan Mulholland from Asia is leading the chase here. Plenty of people up at the finish line here, eager to see, will Banbridge be represented in the break? Will it be McKee takes him around the corner? And all of a sudden we've got Gareth McKee, and it looks like Declan Mulholland from Asia powering away at the front. And right behind you could see one of the Banbridge riders. To me looks like James Curry at the front of affairs. Indeed it is, with Mark Dowling in his right hand as Conor Hennebury comes through. David Montgomery from a post. You can see the riders beginning to make breaks. It's Gareth McKee up front, Mark Dowling marking the wheels. Conor Hennebury passes through the shot. David Montgomery from on post also, as Curry takes him right across the road. Attacks coming. Cameron McIntyre from the Nicholas Roach Performance team there accelerating as they reach the top of Main Street going into the third lap. They're about to take the right hand turn now. You can see them sweeping through an S-bend there just after the start finish line, and it's Cameron McIntyre takes third place with James Curry in about fifth or so into that right hand turn. Back onto Main Street, we've got Declan Mulholland, that big powerhouse on the front, and Gareth McKee really taking advantage of that slipstream as he looks to lead them into that right hand corner. Now on the back of the circuit, Gary Cranston from the Audi team is on the back of this chase group here. Mulholland still on the front, and yet another attack on the right hand side of the road. This time it's Philip Lavery attacking in the centre of the field. There is Conor Hennebury. He's missed the wheel, and it looks as if it's Lavery trying to go across now. Will he make it across to the duo? You can see the riders packed behind now at this stage, and gaps beginning to appear. If the gaps do appear at this stage and they do go out, riders are simply going to lose the wheel. Now Gareth McKee coming through on his own. We can see Jason Prendergast from Conga there. Mulholland, he's now back in the chase group, and one of the riders from Sundrive, that's Martin Rice, is in the chase group here as they look to close the gap at this stage. The rider's been warned that there's a preem coming up the next lap, and Mark Dowling beginning to put his handle on it. David Montgomery in second place, James Curry coming through. We can see Glenn Kinning there as well, but the field really beginning to break up. Mark Potts on the wheel there. Now they're vying for that sprint, and it's Dowling is going to take it. No, indeed, it's Lindsay Watson from Plush MTB takes the first preem of the evening. Great representation there, remember, from Banbridge Cycling Club right up at the head of affairs. Now riders beginning to check and see is there a gap as they sweep through the right hand turn onto the Main Street. Mark Potts at the back of affairs there just checking wheels. In front of him is David Montgomery. Remember, there's a preem coming up very very shortly. Declan Mulholland from ASEA Wheelworks has made this gap here. Now there's going to be a preem on the next lap. It's been called out to the riders, and Mark Dowling is leading affairs here. Second coming through is Gareth McKee. Third coming through is Philip Lavery. Now it's all to play for still. Will those three riders accelerate away? We can see James Curry marking the wheels as Roger Aiken from Wheelworks ASEA comes through there, but the riders aren't working too hard at the moment. Potts once more at the back of affairs. We can see Cameron McIntyre from Nicholas Roach Performance team. The riders are not flat out at the moment. It's McKee rather leading them through the next time. Rather, it's James Curry at the head of affairs. Now we can see the chasing groups, and they really have fragmented. The pace is such that we've now got three riders at the head of affairs, a small chase group of about 7 or 8 or so. We can see them right here on the road. That's James Curry on the left hand side, and from South Dublin team we can see Dave Riley there as well as they come through 200 metres to go, all still to play for. They may well have missed out on the break of the evening. Mark Dowling up the road, and so too with him is Gareth McKee, and at this stage the other riders are simply going to have to work up and over, but at the moment going for it now is Lindsay Watson once more. Remember, he did take that first preem of the evening, and he's on the inside of the bikes here. Very very tight for these riders. Mark Dowling looking to put the hammer down up the front, but these groups may well be out of contention already this evening. Montgomery on the back here. Mark Potts from Neon Velo in front of him. Darnell Moore is here in the chase group as well, but they're looking at a substantial gap here. It's gone out to 12 or 13 seconds or so, and this stall is going to be crucial to this evening because the hammer is going down up front. If this message is communicated around the course, we've got Gareth McKee up there, Mark Dowling is up there, and so too Philip Lavery. They're looking at 3 podium places, and perhaps a little bit of frustration here for James Curry from Banbridge. He's right at the the front right there from our picture. He's not leading around the corner. Indeed, it's Roger Aiken here. So 2 riders represented from the trio up ahead. Cameron McIntyre takes an opportunity to hydrate himself here on the back of the course. This is on the downhill section here. So for the opportunity to the riders to look to put the pressure on at this stage, it's simply not happening. They're freewheeling down here when the other riders up front, they're in excess of 55, 57 kilometres an hour. And here comes the sprint here. The 3 riders are coming through here. This is the quartet now at this stage, and Glenn Kinning has made it over. Glenn Kinning from Kinning Cycles has made it through. Cameron McIntyre pushes through David Montgomery onto the wheels there, but the simply behind, the fact of the matter is we've got 2 riders up the front, and the other quintet at this stage, they're allowing ASEA Wheelworks and also Banbridge to play their card. The 2 riders at the front of the field here, James Curry and Roger Aiken, are simply going to take the pressure off the other riders at the front. They're not going to do too much. They're going to glass crank, as they call it. Mark Potts and the other riders are simply allowing it happen. We can see Lindsay Watson there becoming a little bit frustrated. We can see Darnell Moore as well beginning to put the hammer on down at the front. There's quite a big gap, but these 4 riders that are coming up here, they'll be getting the advices of the marshals and coming through at the front. We've got Philip Lavery, we've got Gareth McKee, also Glenn Kinning, and on the back there, one of the 4 riders is Mark Dowling. Remember, defending national criterium champion, he gets to wear rider number 1. It's the privilege of the national champion as he looks to defend. And at the back once more, we can see Cameron McIntyre from Nicholas Roach Performance Team, and on the left there is that Lindsay Watson or Darnell Moore. Difficult to make out. Mark Potts, the big impressive figure of Mark Potts. Remember, he's already defended the title down at the Shaley Memorial Classic, one of the biggest classic races in Ireland over the course of 2016. So he certainly has that on his palmares already, as we can see the riders here now beginning to claw it back a little bit. It's looking at about 5 or 6 seconds. Right at the head of affairs here, we've got Darnell Moore from Caldwell Cycles at the front. In 4th place is Lindsay Watson. So the riders up front working very, very well together. It looks to me as if it could be John Buller of the Banbridge team there with the Sundrive rider. Martin Rice looking to close the gap to the riders up ahead. So we now have 4 riders up front. We have 7 chasing, 2 in between, and now the remaining riders, including Gary Cranston from Audi there. We can see him sitting on the back of this chasing group, but the pressure's certainly on at the back of the course. Remember, this descent followed by the chicane slide uphill before they work their way back onto the main road. An awful lot of the work been done on the back of the course at this stage here. You can see them ramping through here. McKee it is, putting the hammer down up front, but right behind that chase group, it looks as if it's James Curry putting the pressure on. He'll be looking to see can he contend for a podium place, but word will have to come through from behind. Remember, there is a team prize this evening, and that may well go to the riders. Now a bit of confusion here, let me tell you, because what we have is we've the 4 riders, the principal riders in this event, have come through that chase group from behind. So we now have Glenn Kinning, Gareth McKee, Philip Lavery and Mark Dowling ahead of this chase group, which includes Darnell Moore, and we can also see at the bottom of that chase group there is David Montgomery. 200 metres to go for the chase group here. These riders are certainly out of contention at this stage, but the riders been advised only a couple of laps to go now at this stage here, and it's Philip Lavery leads from Mark Dowling, also up there Kinning and McKee, and the pressure beginning to go on from behind. Will this chasing group of riders make it up to the lead group? The pressure been absolutely piled on from behind. It's Mark Potts from Neon Velo. Also up there, James Curry looking to put the pressure on, and the riders scrambling for the wheels now at this stage. David Montgomery from On Post Chain Reaction as well, looking to get across to the leaders. It looks as if a group has come together now on the back of the circuit as they accelerate up through the chicane here, making the way back towards Main Street. This little climb will be hurting the riders at this stage, but will the quartet stay away, or will the chasing group make the divide? Towards the front, 200 metres to go, and Jason Prendergast from Conga still involved in the chase group here, and they're passing through the start-finish line now. 3 groups on the road, as we mentioned, and right up ahead, it looks to me as if it's Philip Lavery. Indeed it is. Mark Dowling comes through, Kinning behind him, and they've actually ridden through one of the chase groups, the groups which have dropped off behind now. Once more back to the 3rd chase group on the road. The pressure off a little bit. Any time that you see the riders gathered together and not in a line out, it means that the pressure is off a little bit. Could be a coming together. Join us after the break. So welcome back. We're into the second half of this Irish National Criterium race, and it's still all to play for. We have a quartet up the front as mentioned, but now it's coming to the chasing groups, and the decision for them is, are they going to work or are they going to leave Roger Aiken and James Curry on the front of affairs? We can see Lindsay Watson on the right hand side. He did take the first preem of the day. Cameron McIntyre from the Nicholas Roach performance team sitting well up, and once more marking the back is Gary Cranston from Audi and Dave Riley from South Dublin. But as Lavery takes them through this chicane with 200 metres to go, and it's an attack, it looks to me as if it's one of the Banbridge riders. It'll be interesting to see. That could well be John Buller trying to put in a performance for the team prize later on. It's Dowling takes him through the finish line. Lavery, McKee, Kinning, and one of the chase groups from earlier on. Now this is going to be a big factor. The commissaires can pull any of the chase groups. We saw Martin Rice from South Dublin at the back of that trio, rather from Sundrive Track Club. But the chase groups that are involved in the race, it will be up to the commissaires to remove them if they are going to affect the race. So the riders will be notified by the commissaires around the back of the circuit and also on the finishing straight. But for the moment, this is the third chase group on the road, and they're beginning to catch up and infiltrate. Indeed, what's happened here is that the second chase group have now caught the back markers. We can see David Montgomery from On Post Chain Reaction at the back, but still they're managing to leave Roger Aiken from ASEA Wheelworks and also James Curry from Banbridge on the front. It's going to be an issue for the riders here as Lavery leads them through. Downing on the right hand side. Kinning slightly off the wheel here. Now a wonder is he beginning to tire? Remember, Glenn Kinning was out on the front at the early part of the race, and around the back of the circuit it looks to me as if it could be Cameron McIntyre and David Montgomery coming up with the plan. Ahead of them we can see Darnell Moore of Caldwell Cycles, Lindsay Watson still here, but up at the front of affairs James Curry from Banbridge and also Roger Aiken. It looks to me as if Lindsay Watson is up at the head of affairs here. The chase is still on. You can see the riders well lined out. The gap appears to be coming down to that leading quartet as they approach the final 5 laps or so of the event here. The riders will be notified by the commissaires on the finish line, but you can see the hammer is certainly down. The riders sweeping through the right hand turn. Now a gradual ascent here on Main Street, but you can see from the flags here that there is a slight bit of a cross tailwind for the riders here. Once again they're sitting up. Mark Potts happy to sit up at this stage here. And the attack is coming from Darnell Moore, and straight onto his wheel James Curry, and onto that wheel is Roger Aiken from ASEA Wheelworks. The right hand turn taken at speed, and now they're really beginning to chase here. You can see the speed right up through 55 kilometres an hour into the right, a left and a right hand turn at the top of the climb here. The back markers in this group, well, it's Mark Potts and David Montgomery, Cameron McIntyre on the back. They're beginning to switch over, but the hammer is certainly down as they come through. Can they close that gap to the leaders as the event team prepare for the end of the race? We've got McKee at the front, Dowling, Lavery, Kinning is there, and the back markers here, and trying to go across is James. We can see James Curry from Banbridge trying to get across that gap. The question is, will he make it? Martin Rice is there. We can see Darnell Moore from Caldwell Cycles, and the brakes appear to be on for the riders here. Will the riders close the gap? It seems to be the case. David Montgomery's got to cross to the leaders here. Only 1 lap to go for the riders here. They're into the final lap. Dowling takes them through the final right hand turn. Will it be a factor here for the win? Will Dowling take and retain the national champs jersey? It's coming down to the sprint here. Dowling leads it out. On his right hand side becomes Lavery. Can Lavery take it? Oh no, it's Dowling has taken the win from Lavery. Very tight third place there for Gareth McKee from the host club, which is Banbridge Cycling Club. So Mark Dowling takes a well-deserved drink, and what a great ride by the Banbridge cycling team, who will now claim the team prize this evening. Cycling photographer Toby Watson takes a few shots of the 2-time Irish National Criterium champion as he takes a few interviews from the Velo Moto media team. Mark is going home with yet another national title tonight. Gareth McKee is delighted with his team's performance as he chats with Roger Aiken. Philip Lavery chatting to former teammate Sean Downey, missing out on the title by just half a wheel length.
We talked earlier on about the race, the circuit. It was quite technical.
Yeah, it was fast and technical. They were quick corners. The road surface left kind of, it was a bit bit rough around the back and downhill, but you know, all in all, I always enjoy coming up the north to race because, you know, it's really done right. Not to say that in the south, it's, you know, there is some good racing, but you know, you can see what they've done here tonight. It's really safe roads, good marshals, good pits. The corners were, yeah, they were technical, but nice and open as well, and the roads were cleared, no cars on them, so you know, that always makes the racing a lot easier.
The technical course was a factor, but that downhill into a cross headwind, that was a factor too.
Yeah, it was a factor. It was probably not bad for the race, but it made it that bit easier around the course. So to really, when we got down to 4 guys, to really get a gap and push this long straight here with the uphill, it was slightly tailwind, so that gave everybody a chance to get back in. And you know, when you have 4 guys like that are really, you know, on the same level, it didn't give you much of a chance to break away. So you never really want to leave it down to a sprint, and you know, that's what happened here this evening. So you see, I got second place.
That was a tight second place. You were accelerating, and another 10 metres.
Yeah, another 10 metres, another 20 metres, but that wasn't the case, and Mark won it, and you can't, you can if, buts and maybes, but that's not going to take the win, so congratulations to Mark.
Councillor Glenn Barr makes the presentation to Gareth McKee, local man taking 3rd place. And top step of the podium goes to defending champion Mark Dowling of ASEA Wheelworks. Philip Lavery, of course, in 2nd place. Delighted with that, and in fairness, acknowledged the power of Mark Dowling all night. First to open the champagne as race organiser Aaron Wallace runs for cover. Top 3 for the National Criterium Championships. Well, great accolades here for Banbridge Cycling Club, and they join in taking the team prize here. James Curry taking top step, Gareth McKee and John Buller the final photographs of the night.
Tell me about the last lap, because in terms of the lap there, a lot of cat and mouse, as you say. Dowling wearing number 1 defending champion. Was there a chance coming into the finish, into that final corner?
Well, the last lap, and Dowling went at the very bottom corner, and he went the whole way up, so he deserved to win it. I was coming into the last straight, and I was starting to cramp, and I had nothing left. I was in every move tonight, so my legs were tired at the end.
Happy with the podium?
I was happy to get 3rd.
Mark, defending champion, but that was a tough ride this evening.
Yeah, I was feeling good coming into it. I was quietly confident, but especially after last year, I knew I was going to be one of the most marked guys. And but I think I had the help of 3 teammates tonight, so I had a little bit of help in that angle.
It was very close in the end. 4 riders away for a good part of the evening, indeed from about 15 minutes or so into it. And then towards the end, they came back at you.
Yeah, I think we had 4 really strong riders. We worked well the whole way through the race, and I think all of us kind of got caught off guard by the group coming from behind, because with about 4 laps to go, we started playing cat and mouse. And as soon as we got the bell lap, I turned around and I seen the group come from behind. So I maybe out of fright, I took off, and you know, I wouldn't be the best sprinter around, so I thought if I let it out and I kept the high pace all the way to the line, that I'd be able to shout of a medal at least. I was just surprised nobody came around me at the finish, you know, so I'm delighted with that.
What an evening for the club.
Absolutely fantastic, yeah, it was great for the club. The results were fantastic for the club, getting the team prize, Gareth McKee in the top 3, and the town of Banbridge as well. The spectators were out, supported all the riders. Really great night, very proud of them.
The circuit was a great factor tonight.
Yeah, it's a tough circuit. It looks very fast in the start finish here, but certainly around the back of the circuit it's very draggy, and it wears down on the riders after an hour's racing for sure. And Mark's always done well on this circuit, as is Roger Aiken, a local rider, but Mark's won a couple of years ago, so it's no real surprise to see him doing well tonight.
Nice at the end to pick up the team prize.
Absolutely fantastic to see some great shots on the podium here with the team. The guys will be delighted with it, town will be delighted with it, and the Banbridge CC will absolutely be delighted with it.
Mark Dowling defending very well his national title in a time of 52 minutes. Same time, Philip Lavery and also Gareth McKee, Glenn Kinning being distanced, David Montgomery from An Post in 5th place, James Curry from Banbridge 6th, Darnell Moore, a great ride for himself from Caldwell Cycles, Cameron McIntyre from the Nicholas Roach Performance Team in 8th, a great ride by the young rider, Lindsay Watson from Plush MTB 9th, and rounding off the top 10, Mark Potts from Neon Velo.
It's been an electric National Criterium Championships here in Banbridge. Dowling a worthy winner, but what a race too from Lavery, and also home man Gareth McKee in 3rd place. Also Banbridge taking home the team prize. Next year we'll wait and see, but for tonight Mark Dowling retains the National Criterium Championships jersey.